Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us on the Mentors Lounge. Today, I have with me a very dear friend and brother in the person of Mr. Afolabi Adetola, the managing partner, the CEO of Cedar Partners. Welcome on board Mentors Lounge, Mr. Adetola.
My brother, thanks. It's nice. It's nice being here.
So today on Mentors Lounge, we're hosting this phenomenal individual. But before we start, I want you to let us meet who is Afolabi Adetola. The Afolabi Adetola that I know. Who? Let us meet you today.
Well,
who is Afo?
I'm an incurable optimist. Well, Afolabi Adetola, married. I have a wonderful wife and three lovely boys. People, a lot of times when people ask me, what do I do? And I said, I'm just trying to solve a need. So I see myself as a problem solver right now. I won't say I'm a businessman. I'm just trying to solve a problem. I think that's what drives me. I'm from a family of 7. I'm the only boy. I have 6 sisters. I'm the second child, and both of us were in Ife together.
Yeah.
Engineering. I've done quite a lot in terms of business. I've always known from day one that I wanted to be. I wanted to cut a teeth as an entrepreneur. Did a few stints in banking, investment banking, asset management. And I think in 2007, I won the Intern Show. And I think that was a landmark, or probably how will I put it? I think it was something that changed the whole thing for me, right? And pretty much done quite a whole lot of stuff in the last 14 years or there.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that introduction, Afolabi. Now, the truth is this. You did not just become an entrepreneur. Or did is there a background in your family? Was somebody a business person? Was somebody an entrepreneur? Or what motivated you to go into entrepreneurship?
Okay, well, so my grandfather used to own one of the biggest record stores in Lagos in his time, Lagos Island. And I remember then my grandmom also had this massive shop at Oyinbo Market. So I used to follow my grandmother, and I used to be very fascinated about how people will come, will leave our house, we leave my family house then in Shomolu around 5 a.m. And by 6:30, my grandmother is there. We sold fish. Then immediately around 12 noon, my grandmother would go to Ekpe, do the same thing, and I used to just admire this woman to say, where does this woman get this kind of energy from, And my father also at the time worked for an organization. Then he also started his own shop as well. And I think even at the time as well, he used to run one of the biggest stationery stores in Abeokuta, and they used to call Treaty International at that point in time. And so I think that is the background that I had, from a family perspective. But again, it wasn't also something that really, I knew when I went to my mom of blessed memory. I remember when we were feeling jam, said, this boy, maths, you are very good with analysis and maths, so go to engineering. So I wanted to study chemical engineering so that I can go and work in oil industry. And unfortunately, I didn't meet the cutoff. So I ended up working in met and maths. And then my guardian in Ife at that time promised me that, okay, just do level 1. Once you do part 1, part 2, we'll get you to transfer a course of your choice and all of that. She said, just ensure that you get first class in part 1. So I got 4.7 in part 1. and hoping that I will be able to pursue better maths. And unfortunately, for some reason, before the end of that first year, my mom died. I lost my mom. So my guardian died as well. So there was nobody that could help me to
push it.
So grudgingly, I had to go and complete meta maths. At that point, I used to ask myself that, okay, so after this place, where am I going to work now? Do you understand? Well, so I think I was lucky enough to work in. I did my IT and oil company, but I also realized that the demand for that profession wasn't so much, So from part 4, I started looking for a way out. To say, what is it what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So I started picking up, financial magazines, financial markets. Then I started becoming friends with people in economics and accounting and all of that to say, let me try because it seems this meta math might not work. Do you understand? And I remember I used to read a lot of all this. There's a particular magazine, there's the newspaper then, pink newspaper. I will go to sports every Monday. I'll pick it up from that man. It's called Financial Standard. I will start reading Financial Standard. I didn't know a chart, some of these things. I didn't understand macroeconomic policy, a whole lot of stuff as well. But guess what? I kept at it. Then I had friends in economics, I had friends in accounting. Sometimes I'll go and meet them and say, what does this mean? They tell me, what does this mean? They will laugh at me and say, why? What are you doing? Go and do your math and math now. What are you doing with knowing about finance market and all of that stuff? But that didn't deter me at all, because I was just like, but because for me at that point, even though I was just looking for a way out, let me put it that way, I wanted something that I didn't want a situation, because again at that point I'd lost my mom. My dad was struggling with his business, and I have sisters to take care of. So for me, the moment I finished from school, I must get a job. It's not just a job. I must get a good paying job. So, so I just wanted to have options and have, ways in which I can be able to. So I started doing this whole stuff. Then I picked up on investment banking. I realized that investment banking was very interesting. And as God will have it, I think a bank came to school or campus then. They said they wanted to be graduate trainees and all of those things. So I did the exam, and passed. And they said, but guess what? Some of the things that I learned in that financial standard that I was picking up in that financial standard, when we got to Lagos to come and do interview, it made me to stand out. I was number 1 of all the people that they recruited at that point in time, and that began my journey into
finance.
So at that point I knew I was going to go into investment banking. But again, I also knew that, okay, I read engineering, even though I think engineering prepared me for the ground. But I also knew that, for me to be able to, I need to have business school. So I studied for GMAT. I wanted to go to Harvard. I wanted to go to Wharton and apply. But unfortunately, I didn't get it, and, I got a scholarship for a school in Louisiana at that point. I was going to do my MBA. Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana.
New Orleans. All right. New Orleans. I was going to go and do my MBA there, So I applied. I got my visa. My brother, the day I was supposed to leave for Louisiana was the day Hurricane Katrina happened.
Wow.
And the whole school was submerged under water.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, so what do I do now?
It's interesting.
So I said, okay, let me start looking for other schools. So I got a job with the asset management company. I registered for CFA. I was doing it. Then one day I just saw an advert. They said that do you have what it takes that they want to run a reality show, just the intern, just like what we have with Donald Trump. And that the price is 3 million naira, brand new car. It's like, okay, if I get 3 million naira, if I sell the car, I'll sell the car. That way, look, I just Japa and just get out of the country, So I applied, I even told my boss at that time, he was like, okay, apply now. You have what it takes. I said, no problem. So I did, I got to the boot camp, there were 20 of us, and they were going to select 10 people out of 20. Unfortunately, I didn't make it at that point. So I said, okay, no, it's not a problem. Let me move on with my life. So fortunately for me, one of the biggest asset management company at that time approached him, and gave me an offer. And the offer they gave me at that time was 4 times what I was earning at my current office. Place. I called my boss and I said, Oga, this is the offer I have on the table. I want to leave. He said, if we match this offer, where would that place you? I said, I'm a junior analyst in this organization. If you place me, I'll be the second in command in this organization in terms of hierarchy. And let's go. You cannot afford it. Let me just
let me go.
He said, okay, no problem. So he said, no problem. It's okay. No problem. Put in your resignation letter. So I put in my resignation letter. Then I sent in my application. I accepted the offer at the asset management company. So they said they were waiting for me. They were already even preparing my visa. I was supposed to go to Switzerland to go and be training in Switzerland. So I was like, life is good, and all of that. That is the intention didn't work. So let me just move on with my life. So my last working day supposedly in that organization. I just saw the chairman of the company, one of the biggest. I won't mention the name of the man.
Yeah,
he's the MD of one of the biggest banks. He's the chairman of that subsidiary. He walked into our office. He said, "Young man, I understand you are leaving us." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you know me?" I said, "Well, I'm meeting you for the first time, but I've seen you in pictures that I know." He said, "What's my name?" I mentioned his name. He said, "Do you know how long I've been in banking?" I said, "How long?" So he said, "This is my 35th year in banking." He said, "How old are you?" At that time, I said, "I was just 27. So he said, "Before they born you, you have been doing banking." That was what he was trying to get across. So I said, "Yes, sir." He said he's going to do one thing that he has never done in his banking career. He said he wants to match the offer.
What?
And that's the reason why he came. Chairman of the bank. He came.
The old chairman.
I was a junior analyst, just probably numbers and all of that. I looked at it. I said, I've given these people my word that
I'm coming
to come and join them. They were already waiting. There was a major project. They were the one that was going to be the Lekki toll gate. So this was a major project for them. So I was part of that team. I was supposed to help in conceptualizing. They were starting that thing. So I said, which kind of life is this one?
This is a big feast.
So what I now did was, I went to I now consulted. But one thing that worked was the fact that my MD at that time gave me my first break into finance. At that time, I was just a green on from university that I knew nothing about finance. But he threw me into it and he supported me all the way. So to that extent, I felt indebted to him.
Yeah, loyal.
And he said something to me. He said, "You know what?" He said, "Yeah, you'll be my second in command." Do you understand? What's it called? In that place, you are still going to go and prove yourself. You're a boy, you'll be great. So he said, the angel it's better than the devil it's better than the angel that you don't know. So anyway, I accepted the offer. So now to deal with those people, they called me all sorts of names. They abused me. The head of HR was so livid. She was so livid. Everybody called me that, this was a good opportunity. Don't miss out. And truly speaking, really, it was a good opportunity because one was the fact that a lot of the people that have worked in that organization ended up going to an Harvard Business School for their program. So I had already planned my way that was going to go. Yeah. So it wasn't even more about the money. It was more of the exposure and the name that gives to me. Well, so eventually we got past that. So now, for this, my current employer to now pay me, so they had to backdate my promotion. Oh, they need to pay me my differential. To pay my differential, the story like a chairman is not around, this and that. Like, what is all that rubbish? So on a Friday, I was going home. I was going to camp. My girlfriend, which now happens to be my wife again, we were going to. I just got a phone call to say I should come to hotel that Tade Ogidan wanted to see me. What is it? Anyway, I said we got there. So they were about to start the intern show.
Okay.
And one person had pulled out. So they only had 9 people.
Wow.
So they now said, okay, the top 3 people that didn't make it during the boot camp, let's bring them back. So as part of the way to also do the show, they now said, okay, it is the other 9 people contestants that will choose the 10th person to go into the house.
Wow.
So they called the 3 of us, and it was such a mess. So they got there, they said, we need to do this and all of that. And the 9 of them started asking us questions, and they started debating. But guess what, my brother? Interesting.
This is interesting.
All the 9 people unanimously chose me.
Wow.
The entire 9 people chose me.
All the 9 decided that you are the one.
They are the one. But guess what? They all chose me for various reasons. Some of them said, this one, his face is too small. Yeah, it's too soft. After a while, we can knock his head and use him and dump him along the way. It doesn't look whatever. He's intelligent. We can use him, but he doesn't have the confidence. Everybody just underrated me because if eventually all of them knew I was doing that show, they wouldn't have. But it was also a good thing because one was that if the producers had just dumped me on them, they would have said that they had
planned it, stage managed.
So it was the entire 9 contestants that chose me to go on that show.
That is how you entered the internship.
So that's how I entered the internship, right?
Wow.
So I had another issue. I had to go back to my boss now.
That you just
I want to go on the internship. I said the boy just wait. You are not even serious. You're not a serious boy at all. So
that they've just matched your offer. And you're not going to tell them that you're going for internship?
No, that's not. But I said, okay, I have 30 days working leave. So I told my boss, I said, I want to go on leave. Then, okay, go on leave, no problem. So I just applied for my leave. So my thinking was that let me go on internship. Actually, before my leave finish, I will be chopped out. I will be.
Yes.
They will have evicted me or not.
Yes.
So I think it was the second episode of the show that we did. So the first show it was 5 guys, 5 ladies.
Yeah.
So I was the head of the first of the guys group. Then so we competed and the guys team won. So they actually beat one person, right? So that it remains 9 of us.
Yeah.
So what they now did was I did not say the head of the winning team will be the supervisor for that particular task. And that I'm immune, so I will be evicted no matter what happens. So it was now 4 that was now competing against each other. So 4 guys, 4 ladies, but I was the supervisor for that thing. Now, what was the task? BankPHB was the sponsor of the intern show. So they said we should go and raise 2 deposits and raise accounts for BankPHB. So they gave me car or gave me official car, just to the life. So we started marketing BankPHB. But guess what happened? My chairman watched that particular episode. He was saying, "Oh, come along, bro. He's a stupid boy. That after everything we did for you,
he's going to internship.
He's not working for my competition." So right there and there, they sacked me.
Wow.
I was sacked. They said it was my sack letter that is my resignation. So they were going to announce, they were ready to date. The chairman called my ND and said, "This boy must be sacked."
Wow.
That is an ingrate, everything they've done, blah, blah, blah. So I had to go and meet.
Wow.
I had to go and meet producer Tade Ogidan. He said, "Uncle T, this is what is happening. The job that I have, this one, I want to leave
this one is yours.
I want to leave the known for the unknown. This is my life."
Wow.
So he gave me the grace to go and meet my MD. So I went to go and meet my MD. I begged him. The guy walked me out. He said, "Look at how you are doing with all the things." I said, "There is you allow it." He said, "As I'm just looking at you, just go and put in your resignation letter. We'll take it. Because if you terminate your appointment, you won't get any job anyway." That singular decision made up my mind that I would never work for anybody in my life. That was it. I made up my mind.
That was when you decided.
I made up my mind I wasn't going to work for anybody. So before then, I remember what Uncle Tade Ogidan told me. I can't forget that day. He said, "Folabi, he said, you don't understand the power of TV." He said, "If you understand the power of television. He said, "If you understand the power of television, you won't take it for granted." He said, "There are homes, there are families, there are houses today that you will not be able to get into physically, but they are watching you on TV." He said, "Don't lose that platform. Don't lose it. Use it to express yourself. Use it to promote yourself." That's what he told me at that time. Because I was really down. I was getting, at that time,
because that was your second episode.
That was second episode. The person going to 10 or 13.
10 or 13.
Do you understand?
I
don't know that. Do you get it?
And just lost your job.
I just lost my job. And I'm not talking, this was 2007.
2007, just about 5 years after school.
Yeah, 2007. And my salary at that time was 8 million naira a year. So it wasn't small money. I was getting 8 million naira. The job that they were going to, entry-level job they were going to give at BankPHB at that time was 3 million naira. So how can I, that doesn't make sense, really. But I just told myself, I said, okay, what is the worst that can happen? This is the one. I wasn't married at that time. I said, okay, what do I know how to do well? I said, well, I'm very good with research. At that time, stock market was booming. So I said, okay, maybe I'll start going from stockbroking firms together. I'll be helping them write research reports. I was already doing that. I said, I can intensify. I said, okay. So I looked at my assets. I said, okay, I have a laptop. So I have a laptop. I have a house, right? So I can use my house as my office and be working from there. I register a website. So I'd already started looking at various plans while in the house, But at that point in time, it was almost like if I didn't win that show, I would have lost out. And I would have lost out completely. But again, the rest is history. I won the show.
Yeah.
And after winning the show, I remember, I'll tell you two things that happened to me after I won that show. One was, I just got a phone call from one of the staff of bank. I didn't take the offer at that time. I didn't take it. Because I made up my mind. You're not
going to work for anybody again.
It was too traumatic for me to go through that experience again. I said I wasn't going to work for anybody. So I'd set up with a friend and all of that. So one day, one of the staff just called me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "That somebody wants to see you. The director of one of the directors wants to see you." I said, "Okay, no problem." It was in October. I was getting married in December, so I carried my girlfriend. I said, "Let's go." My fiancée. I said, "Let's go and see this man." On a Sunday night, when I got to the man's house, is it the way these people were treating me like superstar? Afolabi, we won. The wife was so happy. She hugged me. Afolabi, you don't understand. I was rooting for you. I was praying for you. I'm so happy you won. And you guys are still
from where?
Yeah. Anyway, we ate. They gave us food. We ate. So the man said I should come. Took me to his personal study upstairs. Then what am I doing right now? I said, I'm doing investment advisory and I'm managing portfolio. He said, yeah. He said, if I give you my portfolio, you can manage it. I said, yes. I said, I can manage it. This guy wrote me a check, Harry. The check he wrote me, my target where I was coming from, it was 5 times my target where I was at. Meanwhile, I didn't even tell you the story. When I won the intern show, guess the first person that called me?
The chairman.
My MD called me.
Yeah.
He called me. He said, "Will I come back?" I said, "Okay, I will only come back on one condition." He said, "What's the condition?" I said, "If your position is available." I said, you know, so yeah, I said no. I said, "Sir, no, I didn't tell him that." But in my mind, I was like, that's the only reason why I can go back.
He called back.
He called me back. They wanted to take me back. I said, no. It's not even good for employees' morale, right? Somebody was supposed to go, and everybody knew the story.
Yes.
They called me back again. I said, let me go and do my thing. So, and the man gave us a check.
Kai.
He gave me a check. So, what I felt I had lost out, even my cabal, at that time, that's my portfolio that I was supposed to bring in. And they set targets for you that you can't meet, right? That's you're not supposed to meet your target. But I now had 3 times that amount. Do you understand? I had that 3 amount. The other one was about 4 years after I was in London.
After internship. After intern.
Yeah, I got to London. I was coming out of Heathrow into the train station, and somebody just shouted my name. Afolabi, London. I don't know in London, So that's how this couple came home. I said, the husband said, Afolabi. I said, yes, sir. He said, you don't know me? He said, yes, I do. He said, I watched the intern. He said, there was a particular task that you did. He said, that is where I got my inspiration to start my business from.
Wow.
He said, I have 4 different car washes because of that experience of the intern. He said, me and my family were in London for holiday. He said, please, I will beg you. I will need you to follow me to my house. If I tell my wife that I met you,
she won't believe.
She won't forgive me.
Wow.
That's how I followed this man to London.
To his house.
When I got there, 4 years after. 4 years after. So, that has been, again, the journey.
This is interesting.
This is interesting. We lost money, we gained money, and that was the turning point.
This is really, really, really straight from the horse's mouth. I mean, I have not heard it in this dimension before. I followed the intern very well. I participated, when the program was going on that year. And there are so many things that are now popping in my mind that we need to ask you. Having gone through that process that time, right? How did you now create Cedars? You first of all, you know when you are.
Harry, you need to pay for all these exclusive that you're getting.
Because this is a twist of faith, and the reason why I want you to share it with us is because an average person will be shattered completely. Number one, it's as what happened to you is losing two things at the same time.
Yeah.
You lost the offer because the chairman said you should come over, that I will match the offer.
Yeah.
And you are just going for maybe outing, and somebody came and said that come and join this thing, and you now lost the offer that matched the offer that you lost.
Exactly.
That is enough to shatter anybody, especially a young man who is just trying to settle down. So you are now able to take the lessons from Uncle Tade Ogidan.
Yeah.
And you went all in for that 12 weeks or 13 weeks of intern show.
Mm-hmm.
That created impression in the life of some people. Absolutely. And that's led to the meeting that you had with that director, and the one that you had with the man in UK. The question I want to ask is now, after going through all this, how did you now put the structure for Cedars? All right, looks as if I'm in the right company.
Well, so that company that I set up is not Cedar today.
Yeah, I know.
So first of all, I think when I want the money to be clean, I wanted to give million naira. I want the car. I've still wanted, so I decided not to even pursue my MBA career any longer, right? So we formed the company with my friend, and by the time then I was 28, and at the end of our 1 year anniversary, we were already managing assets of over 3 billion naira. So at age 28, we are managing assets for people, investors, people, and all of that, close to 3 billion naira.
3 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we made money. We made money in the stock market.
Hello, Afo.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, we are back now. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So we're managing that. We made money. Then of course the stock market crash started. And lost our shares. Right?
Yeah.
I lost everything. Not only did I lose everything, I was not owing people. So EFCC was chasing me up. There was one investor that told me, he said,
wow.
It was really bad. And, it was a very, very traumatic experience. It took me almost 4.5 years to get out of that. Even right now, I'm still struggling to come out of that.
Right? 4.5 years.
Oh yes, we're owing loads of them, right? Loads of them. A lot of people that gave us their money. Relationships were broken. People were practically not happy. But what was the lesson I learned from that? I learned one lesson, and I made up my mind also. I said, I will never be a business. First, two reasons. First of all, I will never guarantee anybody returns on anything.
Okay.
Because I realized that even my own life
is not guaranteed.
I can't guarantee it. So, Larry, if you come to me today and say, Afo, give me 1 million, I will give you $1 million. How much will you give? I can only tell you that I have an expectation. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Afo.
I can only tell you that I have an expectation. But I'll guarantee you that, now your $1 million will become $2 million tomorrow. I won't do that kind of business anymore. But people say banks do it. Banks have a large capital base that can any loss, right? But if I don't have, so unless I have $10 million somewhere, right, where if the $1 million is not coming now, I can use the $2 million and continue to trade my business. That's the only way, right? So I made up my mind. I said, if I'm going to do any business, if I'm going to do any investment, it has to be a business that I am in control. You understand? From day one, I know what is happening there. Never do a business where I'm a minority shareholder. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, right? And the other thing I learned was that, so I decided that, okay, let me not do this. Let me start doing advisory work. So Larry has $1 million. Mr. B needs $1 million. I will bring Mr. B and Larry together and say, Larry, this is $1 million. You have $1 million. Mr. B requires $1 million. If you put your money in Mr. B, right, this is what he's likely to agree to over a period of time. If you like it, you have done your due diligence, you are happy with it, you say, okay, yes, I'm ready to go. And I'll say, okay, my own arrangement fee for it is $10,000. I collect my $10,000 and I move away. That point, right? So that if it doesn't work, you can't come and meet me and say, the only thing that you do is that maybe next time I get that opportunity will be, you can now tell me, no. The last one you gave me, I lost money. But you will never come and hold me and use police to chase me all around Lagos.
Yeah.
Or I took your money and I promised you that I was going to give you a return, and I didn't give any return. So that was how we started Cedar Advisory.
Wow.
I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and we started it, you know, bit by bit, you know, it was coming up and all of that itself, you know, and that was the story behind the movie. And like I said to you, even our transition to date, there's no business today that if we are investing in that we are not in control. We don't have to own everything, but we ensure that we are in control. But guess what? There's an investment now today that we've done as well. So when it's on me, it's we, right? People in the office, that we've done, that we are minority shareholders. Yeah? And of all the investments that we've done in the last less than 2 years, that has also been our biggest regret.
Wow.
Why? Because I went against the tenets of the business that I've decided from day one. Are you getting it?
I guess.
So in that business, we own 70%, right? And we are struggling with it right now, right?
You say you own how many percent?
30.
Okay. Now you are not.
And the owner and the majority shareholder owns 70%, right? But that business is struggling today because the majority shareholder is looking at it from his perspective. We are looking at it from another perspective. And if I have to look back right now, I realize that I allowed sentiment to cloud my judgment. Because number one is I shouldn't have done that business. From day one, that I've already become behind it. There's no other business that we do that we know majority. If it's not majority, we walk away. And not because we just want to, we don't do that. We're not doing it because we want to
control. Not because you want to control.
Take everybody out. But see, we can minimize the risk. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
The problems, when you're investing in a business, the problem doesn't start overnight, right? There are things that you have seen along the way that the only people that will be happy is the people that are looking at the books from day one.
Absolutely.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
I remember we did a transaction. There was, and what led to that was some of the bitter past experiences. I remember there was a fact behind figures. I won't mention the name of that bank.
Yeah.
It came in analyst presentation, fantastic. PowerPoint, what you Java, everything, wow, okay. Just to find out that, you know what, they were the ones selling, the owners were the ones selling their shares.
Wow. Wow.
They were the ones selling their shares. So they sold the shares at 18 naira or thereabout, I can forget. And when the shares go back to 3 naira, obviously they started buying it back. So they made money. But because they knew they had information. But we are based on their projections. So what do I now go and tell investors that they are putting money in that kind of?
Okay. This is really, really interesting. Now, this has been a journey of different paths, left, right, but standing and learning, like, fail on this one, you move, you fail, you move, you fail, you move.
Mm-hmm.
If you are to tell your 25-year-old, if you are to tell 25-year-old of yourself to go through this part again, what would be like 3 things or 5 things that you say, hey, guy, I know I went through this part, but I think this is the best route. If you were to advise your 25-year-old, because from what you said, everything started around 27 or thereabout, but having knowledge, foresight, that would be like at 25, you are able to see, okay, this is what's going to happen. All right, let me navigate. Like, what will you say?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This internet connection is, yeah.
I can hear you.
The first thing I'll tell my younger self, Japa, get out of this country. Get out of this country.
No, let me rewind that one very well.
I'll tell you, get out of this country.
Please, can you rewind it? Because people are going to hear this one.
I'll just say, honestly, I'll say, get out of this country.
The first thing, get out. That's number 1.
Yes.
At 25.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, see, you remember what I told you? Remember what I said to you? My whole plan was to go and study for an MBA.
Yeah.
I felt an MBA would give me the opportunity to work in a Goldman Sachs, in a JP Morgan. That was my plan.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
And at that point, I would have been able to learn the core rudiments of investment banking. I probably would have even made money for myself.
Yeah.
Enough money. Then if I want to come back to Nigeria, I'm coming back to Nigeria from a position of power. I know I've learned and all of that. That's the truth, really.
From a position of power.
Because, yes. Yeah, when I mean position of power, maybe a position of strength. Because I probably have more savings.
I get what you're saying.
Right?
What you're saying is quite similar to this African or Yoruba program that says that that is, if you don't have what it takes to challenge the status quo, you don't come and challenge it.
Exactly.
So you are very much in order.
Exactly.
Okay. Go ahead.
So that would be the first thing I'll say, get out of this country. Second is, if maybe it's just best to just become a vice president in the Goldman Sachs, retire. Right. I'm honestly,
wow. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Especially with the fact that you have this running. Why would you advise your 25-year-old self? Why would you say these 2 things?
My brother, this thing, see, forget about the tie, forget about all this and packaging. Just the emotional roller coaster, the trauma
of the system, of the system that you live.
Yeah, of the system that you live, that does not reward that does not reward entrepreneurs. What it does is that it punishes the thinker. That's what the system does.
Okay. Let me now take this thing, holistically now. Now, if you were to say the environment, if the environment were right, will you tell your 25-year-old to be in that environment with all the things that you are able to do? Let's say you are to be, if you are to give an example, like for example, you built this, these Cedar Partners, you are now diversified, which I'm coming to now. You have a diversified portfolio, right? If you are to have the opportunity of doing this in another environment, which environment will you say it is? And you say that, okay, if I were to be in this environment, I think I will have done better than even what people are saying now.
I don't, beyond even the environment, right? In this journey of entrepreneurship, even if you have the best of environments, right? It's a very lonely journey, right? It's, and people that have gone into it, everybody will tell you of how they've gone broke, they've gone bankrupt, and all of that stuff. So I'm not sure whether even being in another environment, maybe it will make things easy, right? You can go down, come up tomorrow, and all of that. But even the journey of entrepreneurship anywhere in the world is a very tedious, lonely journey. Right? You don't think that everybody will buy into your idea for you.
Yeah.
Because if they sign, then why would they join you? And they would rather go and do it on their own as well. So you need to also understand that. So maybe what I would say to myself is my 25 years experience. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, where I am today, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe I would have just lived a quiet life, relocate, get a 9-to-5 paying job. I don't have to worry about paying salaries myself. Live the good life, be able to afford to send my children to school, good schools, take vacation, and just live a normal 20 life. Everything.
Awesome.
That's the thing that I've hired the best lawyer.
Okay. Now,
anyway.
Good. Now, there is something I want to find out, right? You've been able to build Cedar Partners to a level where you are now diversifying into the health sector of Nigeria, managing a portfolio of hospitals and multi-service clinics. What prompted this? Because that is a sector that looks as if people are not really looking at that area. But if you ask a typical Nigerian, they'll say that, how are you coping with your health? You say that it is in the hand of God. Everything is in the hand of God. But the truth of the matter is that if anybody breaks down today or to have any challenge, you have a situation where the whole number one citizen is having healthcare outside the country. So what informed your interest to diversify into this sector?
Okay. I think it was a personal experience.
Right.
One, and I'll talk about how. So my engagement in healthcare started in 2008. 2008, 2009, about 12 years ago, thereabouts. My wife just gave birth, and a friend of mine, I was their best friend. The husband called me and said, "Oh, God be there." So my wife had a baby. They came for our naming. Then 2 days after, she was due to deliver, right? And they got to the hospital, one big hospital in Nigeria, Lagos. And the husband called me and said, "Oh, congratulations, girl. So happy." So I was like, "Okay, don't worry that on my way home, I would drop by in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I would meet them. My brother, I go to the hospital. And I got in the hospital. There was this lady's corpse in the hospital. Dead. Wow.
Wow.
They said she developed complications and they were moving her from one location to the other. There was traffic. She died in the process.
Wow.
You know? And you know, Larry, that was an experience that up to now, every time I remember it's something that I still don't get. Even 13 years, the young girl, the teenager right now. And you know what just crossed in my mind? What if it was you? That was just your sister.
Yes.
That childbirth, that in some countries, people don't even go to hospitals. It's from the house at the home and do this thing.
Yeah.
How? You know, and you know, that was the turning point.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that thing really, really shook me. You know, it shook me, first of all, because it was very close to home, but it also shook me because of the fact that this was somebody that it could have been my sister, it could have been my cousin, it could have been my wife.
Yeah.
And it was a death that up to now I still say, again, it's not to blame God, it's not to question whether not God, but I think it was something that we have avoided.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that there were quite a lot of storm. People have lost families, lost loved ones, not necessarily because that person's time is there, because of the deficient healthcare system. So I said to myself, if we have put so much money in stock market, can we also do this healthcare? So I said, no, let me start doing this. And all of that. And I remember I wrote, when I was going to write proposals, so I started doing financial advice. I was going to use healthcare institutions. But that the first time I started, we wrote 126 proposals.
126.
26 proposals. Different healthcare organizations to say, we can do this for you, we can have a package to business plan. Now, brother, there was only one company I wrote back to, one that acknowledged one company.
One company out of 126?
Yes, one company.
Interesting.
So I started working with them. I did the job up to now. They haven't paid me my fees up to now. I did the job for them for 6 months. I didn't collect one naira. And then, so we did that. Then you know how it is when you just remain dogged and remain. And you know, there's just a way where if God believes, if God says this is how He brings people, He brings things along your way. We started getting clients, right? Steady clients. Name some of the biggest hospitals in Nigeria today.
Yeah.
So, and I can safely tell you that when it comes to healthcare investment banking in Nigeria today, we're first to the record. I don't want to say we are the biggest. Don't let me use that word.
Yeah.
But we're first to the record.
Yeah.
You know, and see this healthcare thing. I'm an engineer. I read engineering. But I know it. You know it. Honestly, I'm passionate about it. So we started as advisory, and boom, COVID happens last year. Right? And I think for us, that was also our biggest break. Because at that time, all of a sudden, you know, how everybody now just realized that healthcare
was an issue.
People were now more open, so we made it. As a matter of fact, when companies were downsizing, we were actually
upsizing.
You know. And so I think COVID gave us a big break. I think gave us maybe that confidence to say, let's go the path.
Awesome.
And we got into investing out of frustration.
You got into investing out of frustration?
I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I was telling my clients, but it was almost like I was knocking my head against the wall. They didn't understand the war. And even for the people that understood it, they were not just hungry enough to get it done. So I registered the company in 2017. Yes. 2017. Yes. I registered the company in 2017 to do this thing. I was going to do it. I got into a JV with one hospital that was dead. The children were trying to reserve. So we signed an agreement. I got some of my parties in medicine that in Ife, doctors, hospitals.
Yeah.
You know, Larry, if something wasn't right, deal, it was the right time. We signed the agreement, but we just couldn't get it. And I trust me, you know, if I had done it at that time, I would have made losses. And maybe even that it would have actually destroyed my motivation to go into it. But we had that company ready, right? So in 2020, you know, with the money we made, so we said, you know, why don't we start a private equity fund for people to invest in healthcare?
Yeah.
You know, with COVID, let's try and do that. We started knocking on people's doors, my brothers. You know, nothing. You know, a lot of people first was that they didn't understand healthcare.
Yeah.
Even for us, we were first-time fund. What was our pedigree? We were talking to the international organizations, and they were asking, "Oh, so by the way, have you invested in healthcare before? Have you made money? Have you done this?" So we had to go back to the drawing board and say to ourselves, it's before we can raise what I call the big money.
Yeah.
And all of that. We need to also prove that we're not just talking about
saying it theoretically.
So we need to roll up our sleeves, you know, and begin to do that. And one day, a friend of mine just sent me a sponsored post on Instagram and said they want to sell this hospital. I said, look at it. I said, I knew the hospital because it was one of the hospitals that I had said to one of my customers, fine, buy this hospital, expand it. I remember that I did a memo to my client up to the land, they haven't responded to that. So, you know, so we pretty much. So when I saw it, I said, I'm not a doctor. You know, remember what I told you about?
Yes.
I'm not doing any business at that. Even though I'm in control of it, but the clinical aspect, how do you control?
How do you control? Yeah.
So, well, my friend was she was so persistent. She was like, you've been advising me, Afolabi, you can do this thing. You can do this. Yeah, I was like, I think that then I was out of time. We had made an investment in diagnostic, an investment in management. So I think at that point, everybody was maybe confident about what we can do at that point. But hospital, like that. It's difficult. So I was out of things. And I told my team, I said, let me not be a stumbling block.
Don't foreclose it.
So I told them, I said, okay, go and do it. Go and look at the building. And they came back, everybody was like, first of all, our office is in Japa.
Okay.
So from Japa to Agege, I said, let everyone go first. They got stuck in traffic, spent over 3 hours. They came back and they told me, they said they love it. We should do it. You know, we should do it. We have to do this. Yeah. You know, so we started the conversation. And I'll tell you that it's probably one of the most easiest transactions I've ever done. Very easy. And that's also told you also that the timing was.
Timing, yeah.
It was one of the easiest conversations. We started a conversation in November. We engaged our lawyers just a week before Christmas. And by the first week in January 2021,
sealed.
And so I told man, this is the thing, this is what I'm going to offer. We started, we had, you know, I only met him after I agreed with the man. Because I knew the facility. So I knew what to look out for. And so midway, just before, during Christmas, I started having doubts again. I said, no, I don't want us to do this. I said, then we got some doctors and some part of the consultant. These doctors today, they said they don't like my face. And there's a patient in theater. And they said, okay, Mr. Later, we are not doing the game. So yeah, come and do your patient. You know, so I had my doubts. But my wife told me one thing. And interesting, my wife is a risk. She's not a risk.
She's risk averse.
She's risk averse. See me, yeah. There's no risk.
Risk taker. Hello.
My wife will not take it.
Mm-hmm.
My wife told me one day, for the first time, she said, can we go and see that facility? I took her on Sunday. I mentioned, so this is a big. Yes, it's big. So he didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. I was going to write to the man to say, sorry, we wasted.
You're not doing again.
You know, me, let me be doing advisory work. I have small business. Let me just be doing that one. I don't want to have that. Okay. And she just woke me up in the middle of the night. Then, do I know that anybody? He said, do I know that healthcare is very dear to God? Those were our words to me.
Wow.
He said, anybody that can solve healthcare will be working, will be. Said, do you know how that person will be to God? He said, so for that, we don't lose this opportunity.
Wow. Wow.
No problem. Since my pastor Mrs. have spoken,
has already said, yes, how it.
You know, and we did it. And even the circumstances of how the money came about, my brother, is a different conversation. You know, I was expecting money. We were supposed to close that deal on the 31st of December 2020. Because that man started his practice January 1st. January 1st, 1981 was when he started his past practice. So it was going to be officially 40 years old that he started that practice. So he said it was on that day he wants to just hand over. Like retire. So But the money we were expecting, it didn't come. So I started food dragging. Understand? Because money. So on New Year's Day, I just called the man I was with. New Year's, I said, sir, New Year was Friday. It was New Year. January 1st was Friday. I said, we are coming to do the handover January 8th. He said, this is the best news he has heard this year. That this is a good thing. My started training. My brother, take over me, yo.
Wow.
Take over me.
You didn't have the money at the time you were telling you.
At that time, no, I didn't have it. No, I didn't.
And that was 8 days away.
It was 7 days away there. So we started. So after the second official day, so I told my lawyers, everybody's ready, and I wasn't sure in that, man. So this was 10 times that I was going to call and get Josiah and have me. But I said, so I now spoke to one of my bankers. He said, okay, they will be able to do something for me. They will be able to do until like maybe mid of January that I know people are just coming back. They need to get approvals. Yeah, I don't know that. Okay. This is I'll give you remember that I will give this man posted check. That even though we'll sign, but we won't take over until the money comes in. But at least let's do that. So I called the lawyer, his own lawyer, and said, sir, this is the thing. He said, no problem, you should go. So, but I wasn't too sure when what's up and all of that. So the day we're going, it was a Friday, so I just wore my normal kaftan. My wife was like, you should wear suit. I said, no. I don't know whether they will disgrace me from that place. So don't let me win. He said, would you even invite me? I said, hey, don't come. If they have to disgrace me, let them
disgrace me alone.
I don't want you to be part of that conversation. So we got there. Then the bank manager called me and said, I should tell my PA that I should come. I said, I can't come, that these people are waiting. He said, okay. So I sent my PA. I said, you'll be there. Let's see whatever documentation. So we started giving him all the documentation. He said he still needed it. So we got to the venue of the handover. My brother, when I got there, I saw the man and his wife sitting. He had decorated the whole hospital.
Wow.
Larry, I turned back.
No money.
I turned back.
You can't afford to go and disgrace this man, no?
I turned back. I said, God, don't be ashamed of us.
The man that has prayed for you.
I just turned back. I started praying. I said, God. The Spirit just said, just go ahead. They have done the place, cooked food. You could see the man expectant that, what this thing is. Yeah. So we started the preliminaries. We started, just as we were about to sign, I just saw my phone alert. Money has entered. Boom.
Wow.
At that point, I knew that
this is God.
This is God. There's no way. There's no other way. There's no story.
At the point of signing, the money came in.
So I just immediately, immediately I saw the first alert, and I had the confidence. Make the agreement, sign the agreement. So let's take picture. You understand? Wow. And by the end of that day, they were credited. They got their money. So it wasn't even a question of where we were, And all along that line, Barry, all along, throughout up to now that I'm speaking, they are not taking 1 naira from any outsider, from anybody outside, any investor, not 1 naira. But God has shown Himself through all. Have we encountered challenges? Serious ones.
Serious.
massive. But I can tell you that, even me, myself, I don't know how we have 3 hospitals, we have a clinic, we have 2 clinics, all between January 8th and today,
now
4th August.
8 months. Sorry, it's not even 8 months. That's 7 months.
What will I say in this regard? Right?
Yes.
All the experiences of my intern days, my surgeon, my experience with losing money, a whole lot of things is now coming to play right now. And it was almost like those experiences were preparing me.
Preparatory.
Sometimes you lose hope. Yeah. Sometimes I still feel, maybe the last few days, I feel like, no, I think I just shut this down. And I do something else with my life. Right? But, that was
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, my colleagues in the office, you know what they call me, Japa Adetola?
They call you?
They call me a doctor. I said, but I'm not a doctor, right? But see, it's not.
Okay, are you back? Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is no longer right, because I have seen God move. I've seen His move regarding this transitioning from investment banking, a whole lot now
to health
investment. And also, He has brought in people that have helped us be able to do it. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she was saying, I looked at her and I was still saying, well, as in she's totally sold out. She was like, I said, we need to take it easy. She said, what are we taking easy? We are going out. We are going out. We are pushing it. I was like, this is the woman that will not allow me to take unnecessary risk. But that has been, that's been the story.
This is really explosive. Maybe I'll just take 1 or 2 more questions, and that'll be it for today, because we've taken your time. This is an explosive exposition from the horse's mouth. Now, going forward, can we say that there is an invisible ruler that channels or directs the path of one, that it now sends people along your way, especially at the critical junctions? Like, for example, when you wanted to take the decision about the hospital investment, it was the word from your wife that sealed it. When you needed the intern training experience, it was Uncle Tade that came in that time and gave you the leeway. When you needed the opportunity to learn investment banking, it was that your director that, even though he called you after, that brought you into that space. Now, so for me now, I see that it's as if the way God works with people is that He gives you different bits of the puzzle. Prepare you with this puzzle, prepare you this puzzle, because there is still something ahead that puzzle, you need to get this part, because this part is needed in this place.
Absolutely. I agree. See, and even for me right now, I can still tell you that even my own life as still unfolding. So,
yes.
I don't know what it is that I'm doing right now that maybe it's also preparing me for something much higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
but clearly, the God rules in the heart of them.
Yeah.
Mine has been a story of unusual grace. And God has, even when, God doesn't need to come and talk to you directly.
Yeah, of course.
You will either use signs, you will either use people. And that's basically what I had.
Yeah.
And there is that invisible, much as I would not want to realize the place of God.
My phone.
You can't, for me personally, that's what God will do.
Yeah. So, what is a typical day of Afolabi? As managing this portfolio now. you are into medical insurance, you are into healthcare, you are into advisory. I mean, you have several caps that you are wearing. What's your typical day like? How do you manage?
So I think I'm spending 80 to 90% of my time now on healthcare. So right now, interestingly, my wife also has joined us, so she's doing a lot of the pressure. So right now, I focus more on strategy, capital raising, and basically the ideation, because some of these things we're still need is ideation.
Yeah.
So a typical day for me, I don't have a typical day. I'm trying to even look at it because it really depends, right? But one thing that I would say that is definite along the line is that no matter what I do every day, that I'm looking at healthcare. And so today, this morning, I sat down with my team. We had a session. We're starting a retail pharmacy, and we had to look at the business case, break it down. So we spent a few, and I had to see my bankers, and one of our clinics right now. And so that's tomorrow we have meetings with companies on hospital that we're looking at and all of that stuff. But in a nutshell, what I do is more of overall. I'm thinking, I'm looking at the big picture,
Right. So
I'm not particularly involved in the day-to-day running of some of the things. I've been able to have people that are there.
Yeah. So my last question to you this evening is this: everyone says that the healthcare system in Nigeria is not the top, is not the best. There is medical tourism to India and everything like that. If you are to be the health minister of Nigeria, what will be the thing you will do to change the narrative? Because sometimes I ask myself that if we could have regional hospitals that are world-class, right, in every region in Nigeria, can't we change the narrative of having capital flight of healthcare costs to countries like India and the likes, and have domiciled in Nigeria these facilities? Because I was discussing with somebody the other day. I said that what will it cost us to have a world-class hospital and bring the professionals in, pay them the cost, let our own medical personnel understudy them? They will grow over 4 or 5 years, and you will have had a pool of people who can actually handle all these things. So if you were to be the health minister, based on your experience now, how do you think we can change the narrative of this healthcare system providing healthcare in Nigeria? Please, I want you to be very, very loud on this thing, because this one is like a policy. This one is not something. It's not coming from somebody who's just talking. Yeah, because this is a space that you have created value, and so your voice it matters.
Yeah, yes. Very, very simple.
So I want you to be very, say it as it says here now.
Recommend to the president of Nigeria and Senate, and everybody, and they should put
They should what?
They should put a law.
Yeah.
That no politician, including the president,
Yeah.
would ever seek treatment outside of Nigeria again. That's all. How do you build confidence in your system when the number one citizen is going outside of Nigeria? You're not ready.
Right.
That's all. Every other thing would follow. It will unravel itself.
That's the solution.
That's all. The day we do that,
it will change.
Yes.
Awesome. I really want to thank you, Afo, for this time. This has been an explosive life experience. I mean, I thank you so much for your time. I know that Madam will be waiting for Afo to come and take dinner now, because this is
Madam has given up on me. But it's okay.
Right. So thank you so much.
Fantastic what you're doing here is good, and I hope this will inspire people. Not only just maybe not in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Not to give up, and if you look at it, the little successes we should celebrate. And thank God for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Afo.
Thanks a lot.
I really appreciate you. God bless you.
You too.
Do have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.